Welcome in, Giants fans. I'm really excited to introduce this fella to you. It is Pete Putila. He's the Giants' new general manager. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited that you're going to sit down and we're going to get to know you a little bit. So can you take us through a day in the life of a baseball GM?
Yeah, definitely. I think it depends a little bit on where in the baseball calendar we are. So obviously we'll get going towards the draft and trade deadline. Things shift a little bit, but on a daily basis it can shift. But week to week, I'm just trying to understand what the strategy of each area is and work with the department heads to make sure we're going in the right direction.
So you came over from the Astros. What was your position there and how big has the change been to GM?
Yeah, my title was assistant general manager. So this past year I oversaw international scouting, amateur scouting, player development, and sports medicine and performance. So got to work with a range of different areas. Yeah.
Just what you had to do.
So I think that made the transition a little bit easier, smoother, because I was already working with such a big group of people there. So just a few additional responsibilities tacked on here.
At what point does someone say, I want to climb the ladder in Major League Baseball, not as a player, but in the front office? I always think most people want to be a player.
Yeah, I think if you look at maybe letters I wrote to myself when I was a kid, it was, the dream was to be a Major League player. And, at a certain point you realize that's not going to be the case, but you still want to be around the game. And, so choosing an area of study in school, trying to stay around the game. You're never sure what exactly it's going to turn into, but obviously I've been fortunate to work my way to this position, so it's very exciting.
How long did you play? What did you play? What position did you play? And at what point in that career were you like, no, I think I'm gonna go this route?
Yeah, I just played in high school and then in the summers, during college a little bit, and played in the outfield, and I sprouted about 6 inches my senior year, so I started to dabble with some pitching, but that was about it. So nothing real serious.
Yeah. And what was for anybody interested in following in your footsteps, there's going to be a lot of kids that are on YouTube, Pete. That's where they go. All the kids go there. But if they're like, oh, I want to do what he did, where'd you go to school? What did you study?
Yeah, I went to West Virginia University. I studied sport management, but I would say for the kids, just there's a range of different jobs within baseball operations, whether it's a software engineer, data analyst, strength and conditioning coach, athletic trainer. There are a lot of different areas within the operation, so different areas of study to try to get into the game.
Pete actually interviewed for this job before, and you did not get it in that round, but you came back and tried again, which I love. And what was that process like for you, and were the Giants always still in your sights even after the first time didn't work out?
Yeah, I think the first time really just indicated that this type of opportunity was potentially a reality, which I think, changes your mindset a little bit in terms of, trying to prepare mentally for, a job like that. So I think, interviewing the first time, it was good to, understand this could be a reality, and what are the things that I'm maybe missing, and how can I use this extra time to, better myself. So I do think the second time around I felt a lot more confident, going in and really ready for the job. So, which I think is the most important thing.
So as I mentioned, he was with the Astros. So let's talk a little bit about Dusty Baker. Dusty is legendary in the Bay Area. He's absolutely beloved, and I was wondering if you would just share your relationship with him and your time with him.
Yeah, Dusty's a great guy. One of the most charismatic people in the game. You get him in front of a room full of people. I remember his first week with the Astros. He spoke to the entire company and had everybody laughing and excited about the season ahead. And he's somebody who's easy to root for. So it was really exciting to see the Astros, finish it off this year and see him get his ring finally.
And you're going to get a ring too. You led right into my next question. So, that's got to be something that you're really looking forward to.
Yeah, I saw Dusty at the Game Changer Awards about a month ago in San Francisco.
Yes.
And the first question he had was whether I got size for my ring. I said I hadn't yet, and apparently I missed an email, but I was able to get that sent over to the Astros, so super excited about that.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. All right, so we talked a little bit about the interview process with the Giants, but what was it, Pete, about the Giants that intrigued you? What did you like about this organization, and why did you want this job?
Yeah, really, I think top to bottom, it's a great organization with a rich history, great fan base, great ballpark. But I think most importantly, the leadership here, from ownership group to Farhan and the direction that they've set, it's very clear. The investments not only in the player payroll, but also in staff, facilities, technology, infrastructure to hopefully allow us to build a sustainable winner here.
Okay. Let's talk about the new rules. It's just the talk of the town. Just your thoughts in general if we go down them on the new base sizes being bigger.
Yeah, I think it adds to the emphasis on base running, which then puts a little bit more emphasis on the catching position. A lot of players had decided, stolen bases aren't worth, the injury risk, so you didn't see many big leads or anything like that, whereas now the league is trying to incentivize more action on the bases. So I think you see a little bit more gamesmanship and attention paid, which with the quickened pace, I think is good for the game.
The pitchers are kind of mixed with the clock. How do you feel about the pitch clock in general?
Yeah, I know talking to minor league players from last year when they started testing the rule, it seemed like batters were actually a little bit more bothered by the speed at which they had to get back in the box, whereas
8 seconds.
pitchers, it was a little bit less so of an adjustment. But yeah, I think the pitchers who have been doing it for a long time, it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment. So that's where PitchCom also comes into play, just to get the signs a little bit quicker.
The last one I was going to ask you about is just the shift restrictions, and became such a part of baseball strategy, the shift. And I always kind of liked it when somebody would beat the shift and lay down a bunt on the other side of the field or whatever. So it became a true chess game. Thoughts on kind of going back to regular positions on the field?
Yeah, I think it promotes maybe a little bit more of the small ball, where maybe there is a situation where just a hard ground ball is what you want, whereas before the odds of that making it through for a hit were pretty low. So maybe we see some adjustment to two-strike approach and things like that, and also it's just going to lead to more of an emphasis on quickness for our infielders.
What would you say is your role with the players that are currently on the team? Is it important for you to establish relationships with them, or is it important to kind of stay back because you're making some pretty large decisions and sometimes a personal connection is hard?
Yeah, I think it's important to establish relationships with all of the guys, just to, have that comfort to be able to deliver certain messages at certain times. And we have one-on-one meetings between Cap, Farhan, and myself with each player in camp. Every day we have 2 or 3, so those are good to, get the questions from the players. We can ask them questions, get to know them a little bit, but I think the relationship factor is a huge piece.
All right, so there's a couple of predictions out there. They have the Giants placing 3rd in the NL West behind the Padres and the Dodgers. 82 to 88 wins is the prediction. What do you think of predictions? Do you put any stock into it? Do they motivate you? Like, do you pay, is it important to know what people are thinking on that?
I think you come across them reading through different things, and I think it can be motivating to try to prove those predictions wrong, and I think we're aiming higher than that, so we'll see what happens.
Of course you are. So let's talk a little bit about time versus instant gratification in this game, because fans want it and they want it right now. How do you handle that? You absolutely know you need this, but this is what you get over here.
Yeah, I think it's not often where you have every single position on the field available in the draft and you take the best players. So generally there's a big enough gap between those players where you just have to take the best player available. And it's going to be a few years, before they reach the major leagues where, at that point, some of the needs could change. So it's definitely a tough thing to do, drafting for need.
I want to talk to you about prospects before I let you go. Pretty painless, right? I cannot believe he's 21 years old. I was like, you're like 45, but he's not. He's 21. Kyle Harrison.
Yeah, Kyle has progressed a lot, and I saw him the first day at camp. He was throwing in the outfield, and I told him, it's good to see you out on the field, because I had met him 3 different times before that, and every single time he was in the weight room. So he's worked really hard. He has a special fastball, up into the mid-90s, and just working on staying in the zone. And if he does that, I think he's going to be just fine.
23-year-old third baseman. We've already seen some great plays from him. Casey Schmidt. What do you got on him?
Yeah, the staff rave about his defensive prowess over there, just from the jumps to the glove work, and he's got a plus arm, and we've already seen it on display here. And then at the plate as well, he's driven a few balls already, so it's a nice, simple, easy swing. So we're excited to see what he can do. And he covered at shortstop for a month last year when Luciano was down, and he held his own. So that's
So
exciting.
I have Luciano on here. People were really excited about him, and I know he's dealt with some tough luck on the injury side.
He's in a great spot, and the goal is to get 500 bats this year, and make sure that his development continues. And you talked about patience before. I think he's a guy. It's easy to forget. He was playing at 20 years old last year in High A, and he held his own and produced offensively. Has some things to work on, but he's in great spirits and excited to get out there. So he has the potential to be a really special player.
That's when I was going to ask you about his outfielder Von Brown.
Yeah, Vaughn, he's a physical specimen. He's really worked to get to the point he's at now. Smaller school guy, late round draft, and really built himself into the athlete he is. He's a plus runner, plus power. So it's a pretty rare power speed combo that he has. And he was put up 1,000 OPS last year, and he'll continue to be challenged, but he's a really intense competitor, and you can tell he has fun out there. So we're excited.
Do you ever get all of these stats of these players mixed up? I mean, you're rattling this stuff off.
I think the funniest thing is meeting some of the players for the first time in person, and you might not know be able to put a name to a face, but you know everything else about them. So that's been nice here in camp to be able to finally meet some of these guys in person.
What do you do for downtime when Putila doesn't want to read all these stats about all the prospects and look at the draft picks and look at the trade deadline? What do you do for you?
I spend time with my wife, Amethyst, and we have a German short-haired pointer named Donut. So we like to take him to the park and play and, go out and eat and, nothing crazy. But, spending time together with her is fun.
Thank you so much. We're excited to have you.
Appreciate you having me today.
Appreciate the time. Pete Putila, everybody, Giants' new GM.